TheMtVernonKid here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to another comic review, guys. I know, like I said, start putting the comic back up. I'm still trying to finish off a few stacks of comics so there's going to be a lot of past reviews, but I'll build up to the current stuff. But I really wanted to talk about the first issue of a comic. I really want to talk about this first issue because next week the second issue, I believe, comes out, and I wanted to talk about this guy, the other history of the DC universe. If you can get a good look, this is written by John Ridley, Giuseppe Calamcoli does the artwork on this. This is book one. I really wanted to talk about this, guys. I had to talk about this. As you all know, how many of you know, you probably all know, guys, I am a huge Black Lightning fan. He is one of my top 10 favorite DC characters. He's always on my top 10 list when it comes to DC heroes. He's very high up. If I'm talking about just black heroes in general in the comic world, he's very high. He's like in my top 5. And this right here sums up pretty much his career in a sense. It takes place from his debut, takes place from 1972 to 1995. So it goes in the hindsight of his first 12 series run to his last beginning of his last series, solo series. So John Ridley does an amazing job of us, the reader, looking through the eyes of Jefferson Pierce, from his upbringing to the death of his father, how he coped with death and losing people in his life, how he copes with failure, from his marriage to his successes with being a Olympic gold winner, coming back to his old neighborhood, Suicide Slums, which is the quote-unquote ghetto section of Metropolis, as well as becoming a father, and why he does what he does as Black Lightning. Why does he feel necessary to do it? What is his purpose? Why does he risk his life to defend a section of Metropolis that not even Superman comes through? It also plays into, Mr. Riley does a great job of showcasing what Jefferson thought of all the other DC heroes in this universe. One in particular is, like I said, how he felt about Superman, and how he felt about the Justice League, and why, them trying to they testing him to see if he's worthy of being a member of the Justice League. How he felt about other black heroes, which I definitely think is what I definitely wanted to talk about. And one in particular is how he felt about John Stewart at the time, the first time he saw John Stewart. And I actually want to read a little bit of what he said. So this is right here. This is him talking about John Stewart. He basically says, John Stewart was the first of the superhumans who looked like the rest of us. Born allegedly without fear, armed reportedly with a ring whose power was limited only by the imagination, he was a Green Lantern. Sometimes, most of the time, he was just John Stewart, the architect, because he was a substitute Green Lantern. as the press would call him, reserved, temporary, stand-in. The media could not come up with enough adjectives to reinforce the fact Stewart wasn't a bona fide, full-employed Superman. And to a whole lot of us, it seemed like John Stewart never really fought the perception of being a fill-in or knowing his place. To the people on the other side of M.L.K. Drive, John Stewart was acceptable and tolerable. To us, he just came off like a bit of a appeaser. He came off that way at a distance. He came off as arrogant up close. And he goes on to talk about how when John Stewart came to the school where he was teaching, and he basically said, like, there was people that was looking at him like, he's talking about being a hero, but then he goes on to say, the whole time Stewart was talking, not once did his feet actually touch the ground. He floated, probably out of a habit, but it came off as conceited, condescending. Stewart was a hero to the people, but not a hero for the people. Our hero was yet to come. That's his view of how, in his eyes, John Stewart came off. And as I love how Riley wrote that, because a lot of people would look at that and probably be like, oh, Jefferson's just jealous. But this was also coming from almost a sense of reality. We see a lot of these big time athletes and black celebrities, and it's almost as if once they make it big, they leave wherever they grew up, or this is what molded them, and forget about it. So when they come back, it's almost like, yeah, you're supposed to love me because I'm one of you. I look like you, but I made something of myself. And to a degree, that's true, but also that also comes off to some people look like, well, you weren't saying all this when almost in a sense we needed you, in a sense. So there's a lot of bit of it that made a lot of some sense to it. He goes on to talk about Dwight Williams, a person that was killed, a student that was killed by the 100, and then crucified him in front of the school. He goes on to talk about the Justice League, more about how they're out here, facing, all threats, but they're still not defending what's going on here. It was a very enlightening view of how Jefferson looked at things, including being a father, bringing in Anissa and Jennifer, and going on about his feelings of fighting crime and why does he do it. The artwork really paints a picture of that, but also it goes off when he becomes Black Lightning. It also goes up to the fact that the media is painting him as the quote-unquote, oh, he's just the angry black man, as he puts it, which actually was really, I love how he put it. Basically, yeah, like you said, I'm the angry black man. So they send in their big boy with the S on the chest to kind of confront me. And I love what he says. I looked him up and was like, yeah, okay. you're nothing to me. Like, almost in a sense, like, you come here to do what? To tell me to stop doing my job? Stop doing what I do? You're not over here. You don't come over here. It made a lot of sense. And that Superman is supposed to be this hero for everybody, right? But in this, they really paint that picture that he's not coming into suicide slums. He's not patrolling the whole area of Metropolis. Like, that's like someone saying to me, for example, that's like if there was a hero, someone like Superman, and he was in New York, and he said, all the boroughs, I protect all the boroughs, all 5 boroughs. So that's the Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, Shaolin, or Staten Island, to all you don't know what I'm talking about. But he doesn't step foot in Harlem or the Bronx. It's like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? So he has a lot of good points. One of another issue part where he talks about, which I really enjoyed, was how when he met Vixen, here it is right here. He meets Vixen, and he talks about how she knew he was Black Lightning. It's almost like she had a scent, like, because of her powers. But the biggest thing I loved was it was Halloween, and Lynn, his ex-wife, Anissa, and them were dressed up. He was dressed up as Jim Kelly. Lynn was dressed up as Foxy Brown, and Anissa was dressed up as a little Gary Coleman. And then, of course, there was one kid that pulled up to the Pierce's residence, and it was a little 6-year-old boy dressed up as Black Lightning. And then Jefferson asks him, "You want to be Black Lightning?" And the little boy said, "Yeah, he's bad," and he says it with like enthusiasm. It's like if a kid from like the 70s or so met a big athlete from the 70s, like Dr. J or something like that, and afterwards Jefferson asked the little boy's father. He said, and I quote, he says, "I asked the father, you don't mind your son dressing up as a vigilante?" The man gave a little laugh. Mostly it was good nature, but it also signified a little. And the man said, "Brother, a year ago he was too dangerous. It was too dangerous at night to even take our son trick-or-treating. Not anymore. Black Lightning did that." Over the course of the evening, another 70 or so kids and their families made it to our door. Lynn and I passed out candy until all bags were empty. I put Anissa to bed, sat with her, rubbed her head until she drifted to sleep without a care in the world. The words the young boy's father kept playing in my head. Black Lightning did that. This panel right here really sums up just what a character like Black Lightning meant to the people of suicide slums. It does go on about him having Jennifer. It does go on more about the Justice League testing him, wanting him to join, him turning them down, like, "I don't need y'all." Of course later Black Lightning did join, but it really tested the boundaries of of how he perceived and how the world perceives the metahumans in a general. Like even the way he looked at when Supergirl came into the picture. You know, I'm not going to read everything. I do recommend you read this. And of course, there's an issue where Jefferson, someone gets injured, and it's kind of his fault. He talks about his time with the Outsiders, how that felt like family, and why all those characters in there were so close. This was so good. This was such a great series, a great issue. I'm glad they started the book off with Black Lightning. I know the next issue is Karen Beecher, Bumblebee, and Mal Duncan. But this was so good. I really enjoyed this, just seeing the DC Universe through the eyes of Black Lightning, a very high-profiled black DC character that has been getting more and more oomph in the uprising of the character. He's getting more spotlight put on him now. It's from the games, his TV show helped. You know, Young Justice, you name it. It's almost like, to me, Black Lightning has earned everything he has gotten in the comics. Would I love to see a new Black Lightning ongoing series? Yes, I would. You know, I would. I think they can, if you got the right people to do it, yeah. And they advertise it better, yeah. But the other history of the DC Universe, book number 1, really good. If I was ranking it, if I was rating this, guys, and I'm sorry for the glare of my light, if I was rating this, would get a solid 9.5. 9.5 out of 10 lightning bolts. Why is it not a perfect 10? I wouldn't say because it became too preachy at times, but there were some issues that there's like a few nitpicks I had with it. And like I said, the one of feeling that there was a part of it that felt like I didn't like the whole concept of the media looking at him as the angry black man. I didn't like that. I wish they didn't do that. I wish that wasn't written, but I understand where Mr. Riley was coming from. But it was great. Really good, really solid. Like I said, 9.5 out of 10 lightning bolts. I had to talk about this, guys. I will get back to, I'm finishing up a lot of books right now, so I will review them, even though they are late. But I'm sure people may want to hear my thoughts on these books. So yeah, with that being said, guys, if you have not read the other history of the DC Universe, do yourselves a favor, find this at your local comic shop, or order it, you know, if you can online. If you can find it online, get it. I will admit that this is a $7 book. This is a $7 book. It's under DC's Black Label, but it's a $7. It's written unlike a comic with different panels. It's more like a graphic novel or graphic comic in a sense. But still, the artwork was good. It set the tone. The writing by John Riley was just great. You can catch John Riley now on the next Batman. He's really doing a good job on that too. But this right here is definitely worth it. And I beg you, not beg you, I guarantee you, if you want to read something very different, but also from a perspective of a character that is a character of color, but you understand where he's coming from, pick it up. And with that being said, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Deuces.